All right, Nick, I'll take all the blame. I'm going to get out in front of this like most good politicians do, and or PR firms, whatever phrase you want to use. I don't care. Um, this is all my fault. Look, I mean, there's Ellie, so that's cool. But yeah, it's my fault. And at this point, I really don't have a whole lot to say outside of that I was trying to get on here. I had the glasses on for those that are questioning that, and for some reason the PC is just being weird. And listen, it's been tough. It's been a tough couple days since I decided to pack up the PC that's been kind of like the main guy, which is coming to your place. So
it's in a motorhome somewhere in Ohio.
Yeah, so hopefully at some point you get that and. We have a backup to a backup, but for whatever reason, I'm still skeptical of this whole thing because there's usually like videos or like cameras in a lot of these boxes down here, and they're just blank. But the program out looks good, so that's a positive.
Looks like we're rolling on YouTube. So.
Yeah, I guess it's working, so that's a positive, but. What's not working is clearly Alexis Diaz and the effort here to close it out in the ninth, and it just seems like it's at this point. What's that song? Wake me up when September ends.
Yeah. One of those games where, like, yeah, they're down 4-0. Like, God, I gotta do a show. Great. They come back like, oh, okay, this isn't gonna be that bad. It's like, come on, man. Like,
I got on here and I legitimately was like, what'd I do? I legitimately was getting ready to try to stream or whatever, and I was like, wait a minute, the graphics and nothing's loading, and I looked to my right and I see a guy rounding third base jogging, and I'm like. That's a home run. Go back to messing around with stuff. Then I look back over and there's second and third with nobody out. I'm like, it happened fast. I know that.
Yeah.
Maybe we'll get a 3-run home run. Walk it off. That is, of course, if we get out of this inning. Oh, we did. Nice. We must be a little behind you, which is fine.
You're just slightly behind?
Slightly, I think.
I'm going to do a quick pause and play. All right, Hines, Indy, and Ellie. Is Mason Miller available?
No way. If he is, then
I wouldn't think so. I mean, I feel like that'd be kind of malpractice if you're running the Oakland A's right now.
Yeah, well, yesterday it felt like it felt like they weren't going to bring him out because he had thrown 30 pitches the day before, and it's like, is it really worth this? And apparently it was. But to do it 3 days in a row, I don't know.
Yesterday was like all right, well, we're showing that we're still trying to win this year kind of game. Today's where it's like, where it's like criminal. Like, you gotta get away with that yesterday. But.
I agree. And they might not baby him. Who knows? They might be like, hell with it. We'll let whoever he pitches for next worry about it. I don't know.
How about this Lawrence Butler guy? It's his second 3-homer game of the season, 24 years old.
Yeah, he gets hot, I guess.
This game's kind of had it all.
What a sad What a sad couple of weeks this has been. But kind of felt all along that this was definitely in the realm of possibility.
It's wild that today it's really Alexis Diaz is the one that, with all the bad pitching the Reds have right now, and get 2 1/3 from Brandon Liebrant scoreless, and that kind of season.
I mean, the A's kind of deserve to win. They have 14 hits.
A guy with 5 and another guy with 3 homers.
We have 5 hits. They have one guy with 5 hits.
And he's not the guy with 3 homers.
Yeah, it's like, I mean, I don't know. Grant Holman, see what he's got.
The old dog. 5 games this year.
Yep. Stick him in there. See how he does. Yeah, that's a little outside.
Hines, I guess, was a defensive replacement.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Are we taking till we get a strike? Are we doing the old Little League?
Yes, Reese.
I have a feeling we're not, though. I got to be honest. You wait for him to roll over on this ground ball right here. Yeah, foul ball. It was a strike, so I guess it doesn't matter. Oh, I'm fighting the fight, man. It's been a tough watch, and then it did get exciting for a second, though. I must admit, it's gonna get exciting again. I got a feeling. I mean, the A's are kind of like the Reds, you know. As soon as you do one thing that's great, you turn around and you might just give it all right back. Ow.
Come on.
Now he has been calling that all game, but yeah, he's been bad outside all day.
Those back-to-back at-bats where he rung up Bedson and, like, the first pitch was not even close, and then India walks with the bases loaded on a strike. Yeah. It's like, what are we doing?
Honest fans holding me in check, and I like that out of him. He said Trace last night said he would bring a better attitude tonight. I am bringing a better attitude. The Reds are going to come back and win this game. Watch this. Watch how this all goes down.
Am I still ahead of you?
No, you're not. No, you were saying all right, like right when he was starting to head to first.
All right.
That's what I'm saying, Alex. Alex is saying Hines sucks in AAA, but he rakes in the big leagues. I just think it's the batter's eyes in the big leagues. It's the free food. It's the not having to get on the bus. There's things that change. There's things that change in the big leagues that you just can't quite replicate in the minor leagues. And sometimes when the lights get bright, baby, guys step up, you know? And maybe Rhys Hines is just that kind of guy. The lights just have to get bright for Rhys Hines to come out. That 95-mile-an-hour fastball. All right, Jonathan. I'm going to say something, and I'm hoping I'm reverse jinxing it here, but anything but ground balls. Anything but ground balls. No ground balls.
Just please give Ellie a chance.
That's right. That's all I'm asking for. I want to see this guy have to throw strikes to some guys that can hit the ball. Get down. Get down. Oh, God. Be careful there, bro. He wasn't reaching over too bad. I'll tell you what. I thought Bally's was just bailing out there after like the 6th inning. I thought it was all for naught. That's down. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. First to third. This is what I'm talking about, Reese. Come on, chat. Let's go. Let's go. Come on. Hey, all it takes is the Reds to get a little bit of warmth in the building. It's like the elf with the Christmas spirit, you know? The more and more people we can get at the ballpark, the better they play. Turns out it was a concert after.
Now I'm torn, Trace, because I don't really want to be on here for 5 hours tonight. No offense.
We're not going to be on here for 5 hours.
I want Ellie De La Cruz to obviously hit a walk-off home here. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, he will.
But I also kind of really want to see this game go to extra innings. All the Thomas Red people have to wait an extra hour and get pissed.
That is smart.
That's
smart.
That's
what I'm talking about. This is a new club.
Your run is pointless,
man. Reese, now that's what I'm talking about, baby.
He gets it. He gets it.
Rhys Hines finally gets it. He knows. J.R. House knows.
JR's telling him to go, and Reese is like, nope.
I think JR was yelling at him. No.
Yeah, probably. I just want to give JR crap.
That's fair. You know, we got to give JR some credit. He gets enough hate mail as is already. 2-0. This is it. You better not groove one right down the middle. Turns out all we need is Reese Hines, and then and this team starts to play better. Oh, that's a good swing, guys. I know he didn't touch it, but we'll take it. Gosh. I hope he has a good chiropractor because that neck just... All right, listen, we can pass it to the next guy.
Hi, Steve.
Yes, he's been playing
hot.
fantastic. I'll tell you what. Holman, he is absolutely feeling it. He's feeling the heat. That's inside. Let's go. Let's go. We got nobody out. Okay, you got to freeze on a line. Got to be smart in the air on tagging too. We can't be tagging on fly balls that are going to
one in the gap and let Ellie run.
Ooh, that would even that would be fun.
Has he scored a walk-off run?
I don't know. I don't
remember one. But like where he's hustling all the way around, you know.
Right, I know what you're saying. No, I don't think that's happened. Boy, that Thomas Rhett crowd is getting into it. You don't have to do anything special, Tyler. Those little backside gappers work too. Oh, he's telling them to get fired up.
Get up, man.
Yeah, I like that energy. Let's be ready to hit. And the ball's got to be in the air. That's outside.
Good take.
Let's go, guys. Let's go. Come on, Ty. That's fine. You know way you send them.
Yeah,
good.
That's good. That's
all
good.
right.
Good baseball.
That's how you hit them where they ain't, people. This hitting thing isn't very hard. You just got to know where the guys are standing in the field and not hit it at them. Boy, we've gotten two. I mean, if I was an A's fan, first of all, I'd already be upset. But boy, I'd be really upset right now.
All right, Spence.
This is it. Let's do it right here.
Oh, TJ, sorry.
TJ. Spence next?
Yeah, I think so.
Come on, TJ. That's it. That's it. That's it.
Run,
That's
Ellie.
it.
Run, Ellie.
Let's go. He's easy there. He's easily there. He's easily there. I told you they were going to win this game. I told you. Glasses be damned. Glasses be damned. I don't even know where the intro is. It's been so long I can't even find it. I thought this was going to be the 20-minute show. I got to be honest. I thought this was going to be the 20-minute show back in the fourth inning, but it turns out, nope. Reds never say die, baby. Never say die. Here they go again, and here we go in 4 minutes.
Johnny Bench has tied it up. The Cincinnati Reds win the World Series in four straight. It was a sweep.
In the dirt, it's a wild pitch. Here comes Boston. The Reds win the pennant.
Larkins won the game.
That ball is fair. Cincinnati's ahead. 2 games to none.
Welcome Joe Randa to Cincinnati. Adam Dunn has done it again. Benzinger backing and calling. And the 1990 World Championship belongs to the Cincinnati Reds.
Marty, yes. This is Adam from Milwaukee. Hey, Adam, how you doing? I'm good. How are you? Good. Do you think Scott Chatterbox is a good player?
Done up there with the bases loaded, the outfield deep and around toward right, and the 1-0 on the way to the plate. Swung on, long drive, right field, and this one belongs to the Reds.
And a high drive, hit back into deep right field. Junior has just knocked the door down to the 500 club.
Benson's first home run is a walk-off winner. That ball had a family.
And De La Cruz is, oh my goodness, look at this kid run. My, oh my, that is a triple.
Matt McClain's first big league bomb.
Spencer Steer's first big league hit is a home run to straightaway center field. Joey Votto's done it again.
The pitch. Votto swings high in the air. Right field. Yes! He pointed to the dugout to say, I told you. That is Joey Votto's 315th career go-ahead ribby. Only Johnny Bench had more as a Red.
And I can't tell you how much it means to play in front of everyone here in Cincinnati as a Red. What a gift. What a tremendous gift. So thank you. Thank you.
I think I can speak for all of Reds country. Joey Votto, thank you.
High drive, left center field, racing back to the Laurent Bourgeois. The Reds are National League Central Division champions. In the air, left center field. Did he? He did! He did! Reds win! Reds win! Line to right field. Genius, the first Red ever with 4 home runs in a game. Can you believe it? In the air, down the right field line, doesn't have a chance. The Reds have won on a 3-run home run on opening day by Ramon Hernandez. A strike away and out away is Homer Bailey. Ground ball to third. Frazier gloves, throw to first, and Homer Bailey, for the second time in his major league career, has tossed the no-hitter. Oh, gosh. Oh, my God. Are you kidding me? Holy moly, the second player in major league history to hit 7 home runs in the first 10 games. In the air, and the Reds win. What a dream beginning to the career of Jay Bruce.
All right, Nick, on a night like tonight, where do you start, you know? Where do you start? There's so many accomplishments that happen in a game like today. I don't know who you want to give credit to first. I personally would like to give David Bell a ton of credit for hanging in there, sticking through it, and making all the plays when needed and necessary in that ninth inning. And you know what? For those that say we only stick around for the good times and the bad times, we dip. I'm just going to say right now, I don't want to do this. I really don't want to do this. But when you avoid a sweep to the Oakland Athletics, and by Oakland Athletics, I really mean the Sacramento Athletics, and by the Sacramento Athletics, I mean a poverty franchise. Because I got to be honest, if they got swept by the A's at home, I think I was going to put myself in the realm of possibility of needing to call 988. And by all accounts, if you still need it, I understand. Trust me, I do. But the ninth inning, it changed a lot of things. So shout out to the Reds for not getting swept by the Oakland Athletics. So that's what this toast is to. Take that with you, Sacramento. Oh, it always tastes so good, Nick. All right. Well, I thought we were going to do a 20-minute show. Might turn into 2 hours. I don't know what it's going to be, Nick, but we're going to do our best on a night like tonight. I don't know where to start. Maybe the Boschko recap. Maybe you have something better.
Some are calling this the Thursday in Cincinnati. That's what fans in Oklahoma. I butchered it. I had it ready and I screwed it up.
No, you
That's what
you
people
did
in
it.
Oakland and Sacramento are saying right now.
We got a mutual bond, don't we?
In Cincinnati.
Boy, you ain't kidding. I mean, they were onto something. I thought that they were starting to feel like they had a really good ball club. You know, they were picking up some wins.
I was about to place a 2025 future on the A's playoffs.
Well, if you want to start there, I'll be honest. I had trashed the A's pretty much all offseason, all year. Haven't watched them play probably, but maybe. I don't think I watched them play at all besides of course, the series in Oakland last year. And I was kind of sitting on my couch maybe in like the fourth inning today thinking, you know what? This team isn't that bad. They got some guys, man. They got some guys I wouldn't mind having. Maybe I'm not saying I'd trade completely, but if you told me, hey, you're allowed to keep Ellie and two other guys, and you had to trade everybody to the A's or the Reds, I'm in. I think that's a trade. I'm just saying.
I think our IL list looks a little better than theirs right now.
Well, whatever. Point is they're not that bad.
No, they're not. I mean, they came in with one of the best records in baseball since the start of July. I think I said that you told me to get lost, and I was like, well, like it's true. I mean, they're playing good. They got some good pieces. Yeah. I was kind of excited about this series, to be honest.
Eric, I'm not sure how you say it. Jarek 859 says the A's had the best record in baseball since mid-June. Is that real?
They were like a half game off of having the best record in the American League since July 1st. So you could probably cut it at some point. And yeah, I mean, they've been playing good baseball. They got off to a miserable start. They were like 9-30 or something, and then they played pretty good baseball since. So they got a pretty good lineup. Like I said, this ballpark is built for that team. If there was ever a ballpark built for a team, it's Great American Ballpark for the only homers, no doubles A's. Yeah.
They're showing the set right now on Reds Live. And I mean, if you didn't know there was a concert after the game, and you would have told me, this is why it's so weird. Living in this life is so weird. If you would have sat me down in this chair and told me that there wasn't a concert after the game, and it was August 29th, and the A's just played the Reds, and they came back and won, and that's what the set was going to look like at GABP, I would have thought we were 2 games up. I'd have thought we were 2 games up heading into the final month of the season. Turns out we're 200 games down, but Thomas Rhett's playing a concert after, so shout out to him. But anyway, Nick, we'll do our best on a show like tonight. Glad to see a lot of people jumping in here. I don't know what to tell you. I mean, will we all be remembering this game in the middle of January? Maybe, but, you know, we'll find some positives. I said I was going to be super positive tonight. I got a lot of positive things to say on this show, Nick.
You better believe this game will make it onto my hard drive. This will be one of the classic games. And 15 years from now, I'm going to pull up this game, and I'm going to think of it fondly. There's tons of games like this. Like, I'll go back and I'll look at a game in 2005 when the Reds were terrible. It was an awesome game. This was a great, fun baseball game during a miserable season. So you know what? You gotta enjoy nights like tonight on seasons like this.
You do. And before I forget, I am very thankful that TJ Friedl got the game-winning hit, yeah, but more importantly, he didn't get hurt. I was very concerned. I was like, you got to be kidding me. This guy gets hit right in the ankle, and he's going to be out for the rest of the season, and here we go again. I was ready to pack it in. I'm not kidding. I was ready to pack my bags up and just, again, wake me up when September ends, and I'll figure it out in 2025. I'll be back. I'm not a bandwagon fan. I'll be back, but I was going to need a time for some deep reflection if TJ Friedl was hurt, but it didn't happen, so we move on.
Off a Joe Boyle pitch.
Yeah, exactly. So much for that mole deal. That would have made the trade bad.
Yeah.
Anyways, I digress. Thank you for everybody for supporting the show. Like the stream if you haven't already. Nick, jump into the box score recap. Hopefully you can manage to do your best on something that seemingly happened all at the end of the game.
All right, Reds taking on the A's. Reds trying to avoid getting swept by Oakland. Julian Aguilar struggled in his Great American Ballpark debut. Aguilar gave up 10 hits, 6 runs, and 3 homers in 4 innings. But the Reds did try to fight back. Will Benson absolutely destroyed a home run, his second in as many days. Tyler Stevenson also homered, which extended his hit streak to 13 games. And the Reds added 2 more runs in the 5th, and they cut it to a 6-4 game. Old friend Joe Boyle came in the game, and his Great American Ballpark debut did not go well. Boyle hit TJ Friedl and walked 3 batters to bring in a run and make it a 6-5 game. A's went to their bullpen again, and they brought in TJ McFarland. McFarland hit Rosario with the first pitch that he threw, and we had a tie ball game at 6. Jonathan India then hit a rocket to center field. A's center fielder J.J. Bleday, who ended up having 5 hits on the day, made one of the better plays that you will see this season. He made a sliding catch. Then he got up, turned, and fired to third base to get Santiago Espinal out. It looked like on the replay, Espinal actually got in, but it was the classic call stands. Reds did get very fortunate because Dom Smith was not hustling home, but he just barely got in ahead of Espinal getting tagged out. Brandon Liebrant came in after Aguiar. He pitched in his first Major League game in front of fans, and thankfully there was a post-game concert, so it didn't look similar to the last time he got to pitch in 2020. Liebrant did a nice job. He threw 2 1/3 scoreless innings. Brandon is the son of former Reds pitcher Charlie Liebrant, who pitched for the Reds in 1979 to 1982. Tony Santillan was next, and he was brilliant, got all 5 batters out that he faced, striking out 4 of them, and the Reds turned the ball over to Alexis Diaz with a 7-6 lead. Diaz gave up a home run to the first batter he faced, Lawrence Butler. It was Butler's 3rd home run of the game and the 5th home run of the 3-game series, but it got worse for Diaz. He walked Rooker, gave up a double to J.J. Bleday, then he gave up a 2-run single to Seth Brown, and the A's took a 9-7 lead. Diaz's day was done without getting an out. Emilio Pagan bounced back and got the Reds out of the top of the 9th without any further damage. We go to the bottom of the 9th. A's all-star closer Mason Miller unavailable after throwing a lot of pitches the last 2 days. Rhys Hines led off. Hines was entered into this game as a defensive replacement when the Reds were leading. Rhys Hines had a nice 6-pitch walk to lead off the inning. Jonathan India then singled. Then Ellie De La Cruz walked to load the bases. Tyler Stevenson just barely snuck a single through to the left field side hole to make it a 9-8 game. And then TJ Friedl, a walk-off 2 RBI single. The Reds come back and win 10-9. Reds now 64-70 on the season.
And we got a deep drive of the day, baby. I'll tell you what. I've said it before. I'll say it again. I wouldn't be an honest fan if I didn't bring up the fact that Will Benson has played better as of late. And he is the deep drive of the day. Who? Will Benson, baby. Once again, back-to-back nights. Homered for the 14th time this season. It gave the Reds a 3-run deficit, cut it to 4-1. The win probability at the time was a whopping 18%. It did jump 6% thanks to that home run, but as we all know, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what those percentages say. Why? Because the Reds would go on to win walk-off fashion, and as always, DSC, they are a leader in renewable commodities specializing in used cooking oil collection, aggregation, and sales. Visit www.deepsouthcommodities.com for more information, and thank you to John and his team at DSC, and really thanks to the Reds for providing some good deep drives of the day as of late. And by Reds, I mean Will Benson. Rally Reds, you have it on the rundown first. I guess that's where we'll start. I mean, it definitely was. I'm not going to take away from the rally because they executed and they were the ones that put the ball in play. And I guess what I'm going to say is it reminds me of how important it is to put the ball in play in certain times, right? I think, Nick, there are times where we can kind of get over. We can overanalyze everything, and we can worry about velo or exit velocity. We can worry about, kind of what your OPS is and all of these things. But sometimes you fail to realize that putting the ball in play, more times than not, Nick, 100%, it equals the same thing. Whether you strike out or you hit a little weak ground ball to the right side, it ends up being an out. So why do you care? But in the case of Jonathan India and the case of Tyler Stevenson in that 9th inning, they were able to put the bat on the ball, put the ball in play. I'm sure their expecting batting average was absolutely god-awful, but you know what? They both wound up with hits, which really gave the Reds a good opportunity to win this game. And they found a way to win going away, because they didn't even record an out in that last inning, did they, Nick? I don't think that they did.
Did not.
So, give them credit. And I mean, the A's, no doubt in this game, let's also be clear, they helped us out. But they also made some good plays. I mean, you had mentioned earlier that the tagging up of Espinal, which I'm sure we'll get into this at some point in the show. But it's nice to see, I guess, if anything, for us to have to do a show every single night. And really, I was starting to think halfway through this game, like, David Bell, as much as we kind of thought that he probably was pretty safe. I mean, I know the fans get disgruntled from time to time, but I never felt like he was in danger. I looked at the schedule, Nick, and I'm like, damn, they might have a chance to lose 10 of their last 13. If this keeps going south, I'm not saying that they have no options to keep him or bring him back, Nick, but it would make it pretty damn hard to do so and keep a certain, I want to say a majority of this fan base pleased with them keeping David Bell. So these types of games, what I'm getting at, they might not seem like they matter in the grand scheme of things, but in a dumb way, in a really dumb way, I think it genuinely can help David Bell's tenure. And maybe I'm overstepping my bounds in saying that, but I really do think that that's a possibility.
Yeah, I don't think the Reds have a team on their schedule remaining below 500 other than Pittsburgh. Maybe St. Louis fell below 500, but I mean, overall, they have a pretty tough schedule the rest of the way, and you're staring down a doubleheader tomorrow. And yeah, I mean, look, David Bell would be the easy scapegoat for other people's mistakes that make the decision to fire him or not, and will please a lot of the fan base. And so, yeah, I kind of was feeling that too. Yeah, look, give the Reds a little bit of credit. I mean, Sunday they came back from down 2-0. They ended up Diaz ended up blowing the game, but they came back on Sunday. They were down, in the 7th inning on Sunday. Monday they came back from down 5-0, made it a 5-4 game. And then today they came back from down 4-0, 6-2, 9-7. We haven't really saw much of this all season. This comeback rally team that we saw last year. So, I don't know what it's worth, but it's good to see that these guys are still, playing hard and, aren't mailing in some of these games at a point in the season where, quite honestly, it would be very easy to start mailing in some games. They certainly haven't done that this week.
Yeah, a lot of that has to do with two guys that you have on the rundown next, and Benson and Stevenson. Benson specifically has a big home run yesterday, a major home run yesterday that gives them the lead, in which you had said they obviously had an opportunity to have a comeback win, and it ultimately was blown. But then today, I kind of felt like nothing was going right for the Reds, and it was just a little bit of a spark. Like it was like, okay, let's stop feeling sorry for ourselves. There's a lot of baseball left. Maybe we can kind of crawl our way back in this, and that's what the Reds did. And Stevenson looks like his kind of like, in a weird way, Stevenson looks like his rookie year-ish self. Like I know that you would hope to not have to say that when he's been in the league for 3 or 4 years at this point now. But he just, when he goes backside, and I've said this a million times, I even think shout out to Barry Larkin for saying something that I agreed with. I think Barry was right when he was just talking about how, like, Tyler Stevenson's best when he just kind of lets the ball travel. And it doesn't mean he won't pull a ball from time to time, but when he's hitting balls backside and he stays up the middle, I think Tyler Stevenson's a really good hitter. And he's putting balls in play, Nick, and I don't know, and haven't looked up to see whether or not, how hard he's hitting the ball. Earlier this season, he was hitting the ball hard, but it just seems like they're very controlled, methodical, good approaches at the plate, and he just looks like a big league hitter. And I'm happy to be wrong on the standpoint that maybe he's a guy that we could trust going forward, but he's starting to put himself into that kind of really small group of guys that we can trust going forward.
Yeah, I think the way Tyler Stevenson's game is, you're probably not going to have him have a super high ceiling where I think he's gonna, put up like a 130 WRC plus or anything like that. But I also think his floor is also really high. Like I just don't see Tyler Stevenson being a terrible hitter, right? I think that he's going to be a consistent average to slightly above average hitter. I think that's going to fluctuate probably a lot depending on his batting average on balls in play, just because of he doesn't hit the ball as hard. And I honestly think if you probably looked at the stats, he probably has lesser expected stats over the last couple months when he's been really hot versus the beginning of the year when he couldn't get anything to go with way, but he was hitting the ball really hard. So, yeah, he's been great. And then, look, it's just good to see Will Benson having a little bit of success. I don't think he's anywhere close to the Reds. Feeling like the Reds can count on him going into next year. But, as I mentioned yesterday, they don't have to count on him for him to be a very valuable player in this organization as at least a quality depth piece and a guy with a high ceiling. Because to be quite honest, there's not a whole lot of guys at the higher echelons of the Reds system right now that have high ceilings. Like, I don't think Spencer Steer has all that high of a ceiling, if I'm being honest. I think he's a solid player, but I don't think Spencer Steer is going to go out and put up a 950 OPS for 3 months or anything like that. And you could go, up and down the list. Even Noelvi Marte, I'm not sure he has. I still believe in Noelvi Marte, but I don't think he's going to ever, be that 900 OPS guy. Will Benson has a little bit higher ceiling than maybe some of those other guys, and a guy that you can, if you have to stash in AAA to start the year next year, that's great. Now, hopefully he proves everyone wrong and goes into camp next year and shows kind of that promise that we saw last year.
I hope I'm wrong. Yeah, I'm not going to hold my breath, though. I as much as you said that you think Tyler Stevenson floor is relatively high, I would openly say I think Benson's floor is very, very low, but his ceiling is higher. So we'll see ultimately where it falls and where that lands. There's been a couple people in the chat too, Shredda 2000, and even Daryl says it does help Tyler Stevenson's healthy. I think that's there are times where we probably as fan base kind of forget those things. And yesterday there was a lot of people that obviously were not happy with kind of the negative energy towards Benson. It's just frustrating. And then on top of that, people said, why don't you have that same feeling and sentiment towards Fraley? And I kind of have. The problem with Fraley is that he's had personal things that have happened to him this year to where it's hard for me to sit here and say that this isn't some weird, unorthodox, unusual situation for him. And maybe that was the case for Tyler Stevenson last year where he was just hurt and he tried to play through it at times, and then all of a sudden you kind of find yourself snowballing out of control because you were playing injured, and then all of a sudden you add on top of the fact of the anxiety of not playing well, and next thing you know you have a terrible season, and it's just nice to see him bounce back. So we'll see ultimately what 2025 holds for all of these guys. I mean, quite literally all of them. There's no Joey Vottos on this team right now, right? Like there's and I know there's no Joey Vottos on hardly any team, but my point stands is like you just know what you're going to get, right? You can pretty much just pencil it in. You really can't do that with hardly anybody on this team, which makes it, bear with me, makes it exciting, but also makes it scary. So it could go both ways.
Yeah, I think on Jake Fraley has a lot longer track record than Will Benson too. So
yeah,
he has that going for them. Now, where Jake Fraley doesn't have it going for them, I think he deserves all the pass in the world for this season. But Jake Fraley's been an injured player. And is that his fault? No, but that's part of who he is. Right. Will Benson has stayed healthy. Like as much as we, all these other guys get a pass for getting hurt, Will Benson has stayed healthy. He's been available every day since he's been in the Reds organization. So that does count for something. I don't know how much, but he has been a guy that's been available. And I only say that because you're trying to. I think you might have to get to a point where you kind of have to pick and choose between Jake Fraley or Will Benson in terms of which guy do you want to be that platoon bat in the outfield. I think you might have to move on from one of them this offseason. And the durability, I think, is a real reason why Benson, I think, should be have a little bit of a better chance in that conversation that I think a lot of people gloss over.
We'll see what happens. I'm not going to make any too many bold predictions, whether you have to move on from Fairley or you move on from Benson. There's options available there. The other thing I would say, too, is like based off of what this offseason brings, I'm going to hold out hope, and maybe I'm getting too hopeful too soon. I'm going to hold out hope that those guys are kind of on the back seat, period, because we're going to go out and make a move to where you're going to find yourself saying, well, it's either going to be India/Steer, TJ Friedel, and X player that are probably going to be the bulk of what you would consider the outfield. But there's no guarantees either. So the last thing I was going to say too, Nick, I know that we don't really want to get on 2025 too much, is like I am a little concerned that we find ourselves, or they start to make decisions based off of what their areas of need are. So if Marte is not good enough to be an everyday third baseman, are they going to try to move McLean to third base instead of playing him at second base, which I think he would be much better at second base? I know that it sounds crazy to say this, but do they have the audacity to move Ellie De La Cruz to third base and put McLean at shortstop? It just starts to get a little scary. I'm not going to sit here and openly say that I'm like hitting the panic button, but there's some decisions to be made, and we'll see what they ultimately do. But it is kind of funny how there's a trickle-down effect right now with a couple guys, and whether or not they can stick it or not stick it, and it might affect other guys, similar to going all the way back, as we talked about before, with Aroldis Chapman. So speaking of Aroldis Chapman, he's a pretty good closer. Diaz finds himself in another situation, Nick, tonight where I defended Diaz the other day. It's kind of funny. I've been on a roller coaster as usual with myself with Diaz. He just doesn't look the part more times than not, Nick, and then all of a sudden it just keeps getting the job done. Then over a course of time, Nick, you have to defend him because he's gotten the job done so many times, what he's been asked to do, that you can't really criticize him when he blows the save the other night, because it's like, hey, this guy's done his job for 2 months. Like, he's eventually going to not do his job. And then tonight happens, and you start to go back to the well of, well, what do we make out of this? Is it just one outing? Is that what we do, and just say, we'll see what happens next time, or do we kind of start to hit the panic button again, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I think today was a little worse than Sunday. Definitely. For sure. I mean, Sunday he hit a batter with the first pitch, and then Yasmani Grandal hit a pitch that was out of the strike zone, out of the ballpark. So, like, I think you kind of go, whatever. That was just a tough day. Today, I mean, he got absolutely rocked. Didn't get an out. Looked really bad out there. I don't know. You hope it's a tough stretch, but it's hard to know with closers. I mean, they're so unpredictable. Yeah. If Alexis Diaz comes out his next time and strikes out the side, wouldn't surprise me the least bit. If Alexis Diaz comes out and gets rocked his next time, wouldn't surprise me the least bit. I have no idea what to expect of him, or if this is a long-term issue or really not.
Yeah, and this isn't Alexis Diaz thing. This has been a thing for closers for the last 10 years. Like Pittsburgh, they had Bednar, who looked like he was going to blow every save there was. Why can't I think of the Fairbanks? Is that his name? In Tampa, that was struggling really, really bad. Then all of a sudden he starts to pick it back up and look his usual self. So it's just, I think it's just part of the nature of what you get from people that are closers. Very rarely do you get, the bona fide guy that comes in and closes it down 95% plus the time. And I don't know what to make of Diaz. I really don't. I'll openly say that. But I'll also say I don't know what to make of almost every other reliever either. So I feel like relievers are just the most fickle bunch you could possibly have. You go out there each season, see what you got, and hopefully you have good depth, Nick, because if you have good depth, you can just start plugging and replacing, and then at some point during the season, you have kind of a final answer. So, I don't know.
Yeah.
Base running. Situation happened tonight again where it's the second time this year where you have a inning-ending double play with a guy tagging up. This time it did not cost the Reds a run because, fortunately, Dom got across. I mean, basically, we're talking milliseconds. Like we're a half a second. He gets across the plate. Espinal gets tagged out at third. I'll let you kind of tell your side of the story, and then I'm going to tell kind of my side of the story in regards to what I think. But from your whole perspective of seeing the whole play, do you have issues with it? Do you think that there was malpractice? Your overall thoughts on that?
I didn't get to see an angle of Espinal. I'm assuming he was was halfway and then tried to go back and tag and get there, but I didn't see a replay. I'm just assuming that's what happened. I don't know how anything else would have happened for him to take that long. And I've never seen Santiago Espinal not hustle. So I'm just going to assume that he was hustling because I feel like that guy has earned that level of respect. I don't know. I mean, Espinal, I think, got caught, took an absolutely incredible play to get him. I thought Dom Smith, that was one of the laziest base running I've seen. He is lucky. Because you know what? I think this team deserves the benefit of the doubt a little bit because they do hustle and they do play hard. What Dom Smith was doing was not that. And so, like, I'm always a lot more willing to give a pass when I feel like guys are giving 110%. They're trying. So that's why I look at that play and I'm like, well, I mean, I know everyone's crushing Espinal, but I mean, just what are you doing, Dom? Like, hustle home. Come on, man. That's inexcusable.
Yeah, and I mean, I think it's one of those weird situations in baseball that happened, and I think that when you understand each person's perspective, then you can rationalize as to why they did what they did. Let's be clear, Dom has to hustle. I also know why he was jogging, because over the course of a long baseball season, he never thought in a million years that guy was going to pop up and have a chance to throw anybody out, let alone the guy out at third base. So to his credit, though, he was paying attention, kind of. He seen that there was going to be a play at third, and he kind of picked up his pace just fast enough to be safe. I'm not defending him for being lazy, but I'm just kind of saying, hey, like, well, they're all human. He thought he was going to jog home, tag home. If it wasn't for that guy popping up and making a perfect throw, none of us are sitting here complaining about how he didn't hustle home. The other part is Espinal, and this is kind of where I would disagree with probably some people in the public in regards to what they believe Espinal should have done. On a play like that, you're taught to go generally halfway because you don't expect that guy to make a play in the manner that he made it. You more or less are reading the ball more than the guy himself. You see the ball in the air. It's kind of in the gap. It's in that kind of 50-50 land. Is he going to catch it? Is he not? You don't want to be standing on second base, Nick, and then the guy catches it on a short hop or he catches it just on a bounce, and then all of a sudden you don't even have a chance to score. So worst case scenario, you go back to third base. The thing that got Espinal was this, Nick. The guy caught the ball and he slid and then he rolled over. That I think it just tricked Espinal into thinking that there's just no way this guy's going to be able to hop up and throw me out. And to that guy's credit, he did. Now, I do think Espinal is safe, to be clear, but that's a story for another day. So people think I'm being a pushover. I blame nobody. It's just a weird coincidence of how that whole thing went down. Maybe I'd like Espinal to start trickling back to the bag a little bit closer. And again, we didn't get a chance to see the angles, but maybe he can trickle back to the bag closer when he starts to see that outfielder or the center fielder kind of starting to come closer to catching it. But that's just hearsay. I mean, I think if you're truly upset at anybody, I think you're just probably playing Monday morning quarterback type thing is the way I take it.
And that was a big run, too. If Espinal
Massive
gets
run.
halfway and is able to score, I mean, that gives you a 2-run lead. That would have been a really big run in the game. You were at the bottom of the order, too, so
right.
You know your chances of getting another hit are not super high. So, again,
Yeah.
I'm with you. I mean, I don't know. It was an incredible play. If TJ Friedel makes that play, throws out the guy at third base, we're not talking about the Oakland A's base runner. We're talking about,
Definitely.
wow, what an unbelievable play from TJ Friedel, man.
Exactly.
You know.
And for those that are going to be like, well, he could have scored on it anyways if he was standing at second base. No.
He got thrown on a third.
Nah. That ain't how that works. No. If he misses the ball, I get the point. They're saying if he misses it, he was diving, the ball would have gotten past him, blah, 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 blah. He doesn't know that he's going to dive. Like, they don't know where you can't 100% tell when the ball's halfway in the air. Oh, I can tell right now that this guy's going to dive and make the play. You're just assuming it's going to be close. So if it's close, you'd rather err on the side of being able to score if it bounces versus not bouncing. So, you know, I think we've both shared each side of the story here. And if you didn't get a chance to see it, I would just say it's just a baseball play that happens, not malpractice from really anybody other than not hustling. Got to hustle in Cincinnati for sure. All right, jumping to the back half of the rundown, we have the Game Time app as usual. If you're looking to go down to the ball yard, maybe like for some folks tonight, maybe you're looking to go to a concert, maybe you're looking to go to a ball game and a concert. There are those things that happen, you know. You can download the Game Time app today. Use the code Cincy, C-I-N-C-Y. You get $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. They do apply. They got lightning deals as usual. You have the 2 clicks. You like the idea of being able to see where you sit when you click on it. I like that too. I do like that. I don't like it as much as how fast I can get through it though. I can just open the app and I can click on the map. I can quite literally see all the prices inside the map and then just pick the place I want to go. And within a minute, I can have those tickets. So shout out to the Game Time app. Download today if you haven't. Use the code Cincy, C-I-N-C-Y, to get $20 off your first purchase. If you have not done that, please do so. 988, as usual, text, call if you need it, mantherapy.org. Good resources for many of us that may need that from time to time. Don't have shame in using the services that are readily available to you. All right, jumping into the back half here. Aguilar, not his best effort, obviously, kind of gotten roughed up there, and the pitch count kind of got to him as well. It just kind of snowballed out of control, and still don't mind him. I got to be honest. I still believe that he can be serviceable, but he just didn't have his best outing, Nick.
Yeah, I think you'll find that Aguilar will have probably a couple performances where he gives up like 7 or 8 hits and gets through 6 innings of 2-run ball. But then you're also gonna have nights like tonight where it's just, they're all coming across. He got his first taste of Great American Ballpark, facing an A's lineup that I think is pretty solid right now and is certainly playing well. So, look, this is I know people hate it. This is a learning experience for Aguilar. It's a good experience for him. Out of all the things that's kind of going on for the Reds, I think Aguilar maybe is one of the guys playing here at the end of this year that can actually probably get one of the bigger benefits to playing in these games as opposed to just about anyone else on this roster right now. So I'm still excited about him. I don't know what his future is, but I know I like him at least as a depth piece for your starting pitching. And as we've saw this year, look at the Reds injury list right now. You can never have too many starting pitchers. And so if he's 9th on your depth chart at AAA, well, guess what? He'll still probably find a way to pitch in 2025.
No doubt. I mean, he's like he's like Jake Browning. He's just solid player. Not going to probably wow you a whole lot. You hope you probably never need him if things are going, getting really, really tough in regards to critical moments in the season. Maybe what we would call competitive baseball or meaningful baseball, whatever term you'd like to use. I hope that Aguilar isn't starting, but if he is, then I guess we still have a puncher's chance. That's the way I look at it. So we'll see what the rest of the season holds for him. All right, non-Diaz pin. Things got so crazy there with the tech and all that stuff at the end, Nick. I didn't really get a chance to see kind of like the last 2 halves of the inning that obviously led to the comeback. Pagan came in though, right? Who came in and relieved? Pagan came in and relieved Diaz. How did he get out of that inning? I honest to God,
I have it up right now. So there was a runner on first base. So he inherited a runner, got a weak fly out, 78 miles an hour. Got a weak line out, 73 miles an hour, and then struck out the next batter. So really good stuff from Pagan after that brutal outing his last time out. Good to see him bounce back. That was just a really solid effort from him. Tony Santillan looked awesome today.
Yes,
got all 5 batters out, 4 of them strikeouts. And then shout out to Liebrant. Poor guy about got his first big league win and got that taken away from him. But he did a really nice job. I mean, he probably gets optioned tomorrow, although I don't know. They kept Casey Kelly for a little while. Maybe they'll say, hey, we'll give you one more. We can use any arm. Right. If you think you can pitch again in 3 days, you can stay on the roster, big boy. But no, good job for him. And a cool start. I think he was the 7th Reds father-son duo to have played both for the Reds.
That's cool.
So yeah, that's a pretty cool story. I'm sure it was a cool moment for him and his family.
Definitely. Listen, it'll be interesting to see how the Reds handle the pen going kind of down the stretch here, and they definitely have some guys they need to keep an eye on. Fernando Cruz is one of them. You've said this for like 2 months at this point. We'll see if they decide to kind of start to not shut anybody down. I don't think they're going to shut anybody down because they have so many innings they still have to get through that they can't shut people down if they are healthy enough to pitch. But I definitely want to kind of keep an eye on how they manage the idea of bringing some guys up from AAA and having them throw 2 innings here, 2 innings there, sending them back down, just to make sure that these guys that are at the big league level don't get completely burned up. All right, jumping into Reds MILB. As always, we know there's a couple teams in Reds MILB that are right in the thick of it. And today and tonight, if you get off here, you can jump in there and catch some action, Nick.
Yeah. Everyone's still playing. As obviously this was a very early game, so I'll just kind of quickly run through it here. Louisville, they're looking to end their 10-game losing streak. That's their longest since 2015. They just came back. They were down 4-2. They've come back. Jacob Hurtaby's first game back has a double already. Blake Dunn has doubled as well. Tough day for Connor Overton. He's given up 4 earned runs through the first 2 innings. Chattanooga, they are down 7-2. The player that I was most excited about there, I tweeted about it earlier today. Tyler Callahan got hurt making a catch yesterday. Guy's a 27-game on-base streak. Didn't end because he didn't get an at-bat. It was in the first inning, very first batter. So he's out. Hopefully that's not. They haven't officially put him on the IL yet. But I really hope he's healthy because he's probably a guy that was going to maybe go to the Arizona Fall League just because he missed a lot of time this year already. So, man, that's a real bummer. But Dominic Patelli has 2 hits today for the Lookouts, so that's good to see. Dayton, they just scored 2 runs. They're trying to fight back again. They're down 7-5. They were down 5-0 at one point. They are fighting back. Ethan O'Donnell homered again. Leo Balcazar homered again. Those guys are both red hot right now. Cam Collar has a triple as well. So, seriously, they're still in the bottom of the 6th. They're batting right now. Minor League Baseball, anything can happen. Big game for them. They could just about put away West Michigan, one of the 2 teams that are faintly behind them. Magic number is 6 for our beloved Dayton Dragons. And then not going well as well for Daytona. They're down 7-3. That game is in the bottom of the 8th. Sammy Stafora, though, 3 hits and a triple so far today. So that is good to see. You'll have to hear the rest on the Chatterbox Red podcast tomorrow morning.
That it is. Mark Fetter's coming in here at the beginning of the show. So my apologies for not seeing the Super Mark, one of the true OGs of the show. Mark Fetter says, glad Miller wasn't available. Me too. Although the Reds, can I say it out loud? I think the Reds kind of got to him a little bit. I mean, they didn't roll over and die when they had Miller. Just saying. They got 4 hits off of him.
You know what? This is really glass half full. But if they didn't have that performance on Monday where they saw 34 pitches, he probably pitched. If they go 1, 2, 3 on Monday night, Tuesday night,
yeah,
they would have saw him tonight. So
that's true.
Good at bats matter, especially like in the first game of a series against bullpen arms. And so they deserve the credit for that.
Yeah. Glass half full. That's it. I think that's glass full is what we'll call that. As always, listen, I got to tell you, folks, you guys are the best, man. Thank you for liking the stream. If you haven't liked the stream already, please do so. We could use all the likes we can get on a season like this one with the situation we're currently in. All right, we got who, what, when, where, and why as usual. Tomorrow we got a 2-biller. We got a 2-biller. A lot of people are excited about tomorrow, Nick. They are very excited. I'm sure you'll tell them why here in just a little bit.
Yeah, the old split doubleheader, game 1, 12:40. Colin Ray, he's having an incredible year for the Brewers. Might spend some time and talk about this weekend, especially if some of these games go off the rails, which we're hoping they don't. I spent a little bit of time talking about the Brewers. Maybe the biggest difference between the Reds and the Brewers is how incredible they've hit on some of these lower tier free agents. Hope maybe it's luck. Hopefully maybe there's a little bit of luck. Maybe they're due for some bad luck, but I don't know. They're also probably told some really good things. But yeah, Reds are TBD. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do. Nick Martinez, is he available? I don't know. TBD. But the game everyone's going to want to see is Game 2. Rhett Lauder is going to make his big league debut. Lauder, a 0.51 ERA in his last 6 starts. Can't pitch much better than that, so we're excited for that. Milwaukee's not announced a starting pitcher yet either, at least not when I put this graphics in about 4 hours ago. But the Brewers, they're pretty good, 77-56, first in the NL Central, 9.5 game lead on the Cubs. They have a 98.8% chance of winning the NL Central. And I got one stat here, Trace, that's just incredible. They are 60-37 against right-handed pitching this year.
Jesus.
So good luck, Rhett.
Yeah. Nick Martinez, Tommy H says that Nick Martinez is listed as the starter. Now, whether or not he is, we'll find out. But yeah, hey, we got to ourselves into a position where the Reds fought back. They found a way to win, and it does seem, I must admit, it does seem kind of odd to have to do the rituals when the season's pretty much kind of dead. But we're gonna do them because that's just what we do, Nick. You gotta do the things that people come to expect.
The only reason it's here, Trace, is we blew a lead the other night. And I had the pillow still here. If not, I would have completely forgot about it. So, shout out to the Reds for blowing a lead, so the pillow is still there.
Yeah, well, next time you're looking for that pillow, it's basically just off to your left now because it bounced all the way from the couch, almost all the way back right next to your side. So shout out for that. For those that have been kind of commenting tonight on the fact that I've been eating ice cream, you're damn right. Yeah, my wife said she was going out. She was going next to a closed place that has some ice cream. I haven't had it in a long, long time. So I said, hey, do you mind picking some of this up? She's like, well, you're going to be doing the show. At this time, I must openly admit that the Reds had just given up another bomb. They were trailing. I think at the time it was 9-6. And I thought to myself, this show's probably not going to be all that long. I'm going to have plenty of time to eat that ice cream. Well, turns out I was wrong. So I just been eating it all show long. So yeah, shout out to Flubs and shout out to this dunk. And shout out to all of you because as always, you've continued to support us through the thick and the thin. And boy, oh boy, has it been thin. It has been real thin of late. But the good news is there's going to be a podcast tomorrow. I need you to download it, rate it, give it a review if you haven't already. And you can hear all about the Reds MILB and everything else. Maybe even parts of the show. And you get to hear David Bell probably mumble a couple words, and that's going to be fun to listen to as well. The other thing that I'm doing right now, and there it is. I mean, I have got to sit down here tonight and really reorganize all my stuff because I got the new PC. Nick's getting a PC, blah, blah, blah. You don't really care to hear it. I got an issue. All of my stuff is just completely in different spots, and I can't find half the stuff I'm looking for anymore. But I just found the outro. Now I got to find that basketball. Haven't had to have it in a week. There's a really good chance it's flat, but we'll see if this athleticism's flat. Athlete